Right, so we're playing with channeling, and we're going to start off with an interview with Quan Yin. Greetings, dear ones. How may I be of assistance today?
Greetings, Master. It's good to have you here. Um, I'm Philo. You can call me that at the moment. And I was wondering, do do you have a specific mission here on Earth in the 21st century? And if so, what might it be?
My mission is in service to Gaia as we collectively evolve our frequencies and work towards collective ascension.
Are there any astral bodies, such as the sun, the moon, the planets, any stars or star systems, that you feel a close affinity to them?
This is an interesting question. Um, in a loving universe, all is treated with equality. And so my affinity resides within the internal realms of connection between time and space and is seen in different ways based on the matter being observed.
Do you recall what was your first incarnation on Gaia?
Many of us came to Gaia as original life force. We have all chosen different paths in that process and have chosen many varying experiences within that as well. From the levels of elements, water, air, minerals, through the evolution process forward. I've lived and served Gaia in many lives as elemental forces, as dragons, as humans, and all are enjoyable in their own ways.
Do you have any, well, yeah, understanding that everything is one and all time is one, but is there a particular favored time on Earth when you existed and you felt that we were at our best?
Best is also relative, although I understand your question. Um, there are many cycles within cycles, and ebbs and flows within the process of growth and evolution. Um, I think the simplest way to answer your question would be to say that the best is yet to come, although there are always many highlights within each cycle and um, process that evolves within each of those cycles within cycles.
Do you have a male counterpart?
I'm not getting a clear answer to this one. I'm hearing divine union.
Mhm.
I think humanity likes to pair things and people when that can be appropriate at times, but ultimately the counterpart within is the crux of our existence.
Do you have any enemies?
There are many that wish to make enemies and will do that with any character before them. I do not consider any to be an enemy from my standpoint, although consciousness is a spectrum, and those who choose to remain or exist within those paradigms will do as they will.
If you look upon the Dalai Lama, is he assisting in Gaia's service and the raising of human consciousness?
In our own ways, we are all assisting in this process.
Mhm. Is he hindering it?
Not any more than the natural process can hinder it when we are unable to recognize when we get in our own way. So he may deal with this on his own level, but it is all part of the natural growth process.
Do you ever communicate with dolphins?
Often,
Are they the most highly advanced of us?
dolphins are an advanced race, but there are others.
Do you visit Mount Shasta?
As a multi-dimensional creature, I reside everywhere, but I do enjoy Mount Shasta. Yes.
Mhm. What kind of advice would you give to the nation of America?
The culture has become accustomed to a certain level of disconnect in their environment, in their inner world. The advice to meditate and go within is given often enough, but falls on deaf ears. Beyond that, the reestablishing connection with self, with inner self, with higher self, with the inner realms of existence, of all that is, the connection, the listening, the information exchange. These are all relevant pieces that would assist in raising the collective vibration of this segment of the planet.
When you left your body for the last time, where did you go?
Um, on a journey through infinity, in terms of, um, let's say, energetically speaking, perhaps you could look at that as a journey through consciousness, but um, I'm seeing like in Lord of the Rings when Gandalf kind of falls down the crack and he falls like forever,
Mm,
and then he's kind of reborn anew. That's what I'm kind of being shown.
yeah, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Hmm. In your time, when you were alive, did you have the Roman concept of bread and circus, the distractions?
These paradigms of distraction, conflict, fear are prevalent, or have been prevalent, not always. And so it is much easier to fall into those thought patterns when they are so deeply anchored here.
In any other lifetime, or as the life of Quan Yin, have you worked with El Moria or Alabar or Abraham?
I've worked with many children of light, including these. We all learn from each other and bring valuable experience to the table. As reflections of one another, we all shine.
Are you? I, I don't see too much of you during this Piscean age. Are you sort of, are you in a support role, or are you outside of us for now?
I'm here supporting in the ethers through by and through the many dragons collectives that are reawakening at this time alongside humanity. And so I support those realms of collectives as well as those humans that call on my assistance. There are many advanced journeys that I participate in, although the experiential nature is all over the board, as anyone with desire to connect with my energy is freely able to do so.
I'm going to guide you just a little bit. And what I want is to feel the way that you feel when you are in your sanctuary, Quan Yin, and then describe it, the location, the purpose behind it, anything.
I can transmit the frequency if you're willing to accept.
Sure.
You may experience it as golden light or a golden frequency, golden thread that exists beyond your physical experience. It is the depth of the connection to this thread that is the most important in feeling the experience.
Do you have, or have you left behind a monastery that venerates you?
There are some that have built structures in honor of my existence and their experience and our connection, and I honor those equally.
Well, I look forward to more experience with you now that you're in my awareness. And I will contact you in the future. And thank you for your time, Quan Yin.
Thank you, friend. Did I adequately answer the experiential question about the sanctuary? Are you
Yeah,
feeling it the way you desire to feel it?
the experience. Yes. Yep. So I'm gonna I'm going to bid you farewell. I'm going to ask for Crystal to return.
Thank you, dear. With love and light and many blessings.
You. I was just wondering if you were able to see the actual sanctuary in China, and I don't know exactly where it's located.
Yeah, no, it's ball of light is all I could feel. It's like it's not much different than what's behind me.
Oh, cool. Huh. Wow.
As within, so without.
That's uncanny. Yeah. Yeah, that's something. All right. Well, yeah, the questions, of course, in my mind are going to be more material and practical, and it just speaks to her character that she's not of that mind. She is very etheric and has a good connection with oneness.
Yeah, it's like higher wisdom. It's like back to that not attaching to like one set of information because if these ethereal characters exist throughout infinity and all time and space, well then I mean that I guess is the platform that they're gonna speak from because that makes the most sense to the like their overall kind of existence.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll bear that in mind from now on as well when I'm channeling, because sometimes I'm struggling to get the literal answer, and that probably blocks me a little.
Yeah, that's
So,
your human mind trying to like be linear with it, and it's not at all.
hmm yeah. All right. Well, that was a perfect experience. So, all right. I will get to Khuthumi. Got your questions ready?
Do I have questions for Khuthumi? Let's see. I'm not as prepared as you. No, I have some. Fine. Uh,
Okay, then. I'm ready when you're ready. You go by
Hello,
Crystal?
sir. Yes, my. Uh, please call me Lenny. I'm Lenny Crystal of the Lenny Crystals.
Well, excellent, Lenny Crystal. I am Khuthumi, and you may call me Khuthumi.
Thank you, Khuthumi. And we appreciate your presence here today with us. Thank you for taking the space time from your realm to share with us.
Excellent, excellent. I hear you frequent at Mount Shasta once in a while.
I have been to Mount Shasta once, that I can recall in this incarnation, and it was a wonderful experience. Do you have uh, any information you'd like to share about that?
Oh, it's the typical hangout of my beloved brother Saint Germain, that son of a bitch. But he's a nice guy, and I keep turning down his offers to come and visit him, and I should probably be a little more friendly.
I'm sure he would love to have you.
Yes.
Have you visited the portal of the inner earth realm that exists there?
Hmm. I want to say yes. It's been quite a while. I am not as fearless as some of you. So yes, I do get a little timid, and I tend to avoid those places. But I believe I was there. Some of these things are mandatory during your ascension process. It's like seeing what you're made of, testing your metal.
Weaving our golden frequencies becomes necessary at times, yes?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
This is something you're quite familiar with.
Sowing my wild gold. Yes.
The wild golden oats, the royal golden oats.
Oh, they're the best. Not like these genetically modified oats these days.
Oh dear.
I'm stealing the mind of your Thomas here. I hope he doesn't mind.
Well, that sounds like a fun combination. Joy.
Do you have a broom? Let's get a little dirty in here. I should maybe shut up. Yes? Okay.
Is
Ask your
that
questions.
for the floor or the cobwebs in our brain?
That's putting it rather nicely. I kid, of
Um,
course. We do share very much a very similar mind, and so it should be real easy for him to channel me.
so what can you tell us about the dusty cobwebs left behind by the Archon clan?
Archons are just no fun whatsoever. They don't have a sense of humor. Um,
Is it true that they've all vacated this planet for the time being?
well, that would be some undertaking, but I think your Alabar and you Jedi's you call yourselves, you're doing a very good job of that. You're almost there.
Is there advice you could give us that would expedite the process of clearing the dusty cobwebs through the use of the golden ray?
Oh, the tools are important, but not so important as you're going to have to start to think like them, but don't become them, if that makes sense.
Can you
It's
elaborate on what you mean by thinking like them?
you know your enemy. Know your enemy like you know yourself. First know yourself and then know your enemy so that you know where to come back to. When you think like your enemy, you can anticipate their moves, their habits, and believe me, they are more stuck on their habits than you are. So they're rather predictable.
What can
What
you
tools
tell
do you use for cleaning out the cobwebs?
um, those related to frequency adjustment through the use of sound, color, and imagination?
Hmm, okay.
I want to ask about the Anunnaki, but I'm trying to think of a more specific question than just a general tell us about the Anunnaki. Are you, how good of friends are you with these characters?
Yes, you must keep your friends close and your enemies closer. The Anunnaki are not enemy. They are really they're you. Um, they're really everybody. They've split their consciousness and imparted them into human bodies. And I really think the word spelunking works very well in this case because they didn't have a fucking clue what they're doing when they came to this earth, but they did the best they could with what they had.
Would you
And well, they're master geneticists, so they're sort of like a one-trick pony. And outside of that, their creativity drops off sharp.
would you say they've mastered the art of keeping their enemies closer by putting the enemies to work and in service to the grand design?
Ah, you almost hit it on the head. What they did was they created in you a worship gene. And the worship gene can also be the answer to all addictions as well. It's that need to have something outside of yourself. And so this tricks you into thinking that you are not them and that you are not connected with source. Because if you're connected with source, you have everything, you are everything, you are not lacking in anything. Thus, how can you be addicted? And thus, why would you want to go to church to worship some other God or give your money to them? So it was actually, I believe there was a conversation between Enki and Enlil that they said, well, how are we going to hide the identity of the humans from them? And so they hid it in that one little speck of your DNA. And that is your God essence. Now, there are efforts underway to wipe that out. You can blame your Bill Gates for that one, that dirty bastard. But I think you'll overcome this. The sun has a lot to do with it. It's working overtime on reinforcing your DNA and reactivating dormant parts. The what you call the jabs, the COVID shots, they were only partially effective, and the universe, in all of its infinite wisdom, has selected out, shall we say, the right people for the culling, and others they escape scot free, and they'll be okay.
Can you tell us more about this calling with regard to the COVID shots?
Oh, that is in English, you're culling, Culling. Is what you do to cattle when you want to reduce their numbers.
I
Kill
see.
them, slaughter them, take them off. It's a little darker than I'm used to.
Well, there's great dark influence on this planet
True.
at this time.
I'm a lover, not a killer.
If only more were like you.
Well, you know them by their fruits. There's still some left that haven't been dumbed down by the, you say, mainstream media. I guess that's a good term.
What can you tell us about the Saturn moon matrix with regard to advice about pushing our directives forward?
If I read Thomas's memory banks correctly, I think you guys are on the right track. I would say you have about 5 months or so before what Thomas is talking about. Right now, it's a matter of preparing internally, with all the housekeeping issues, cleaning out your own cobwebs and that. Because here is what I'm seeing is that once you pull the trigger on whatever it is that you're doing, you'll have you'll see the effects of it. However, you will backslide if you're not careful. If you leave a platform for you to backslide into, you'll go. You must do such as the conquistadors, uh, Cortez, I believe it was. He burned the ships so that they had no escape back to Spain. They had to fight. They had to win. So put yourselves on death ground, as Sun Tzu once said. Again with the darkness. I'm a jovial dude.
What's your favorite pastime, jovial dude?
Ah, I like music very much. I was a late bloomer in life, so I studied very hard in college, and I think I broke my brain. In fact, yes, I definitely broke my brain. And so after that, and some convalescence from that, I saw the world differently. I reached enlightenment, and then even after reaching enlightenment, hey, you still have to chop wood and put water in the bucket and such. And so I thought there had to be more to life than this. And I listened to some beautiful music and was moved to tears. And I thought, I need to do that. How do you do that? And I asked the musician, how do you do that? And he showed me. And so I said, okay, I will do this too. I fell in love. Yeah.
Is it true that you were part of a royal family of your time?
Yes.
And this is why you took on the name Khuthumi?
Yes. Yeah. I I did. See, Thomas and I are very similar in this way. The differences between us is that I was rather wealthy and he's a poor bastard. But he had a mental collapse. I had a mental collapse. We both went to college. We played music, and so I left my family, I guess, for probably slightly different reasons than he did. But I really needed, no, the same reason. We both needed to test ourselves as men and see what we were all about. I couldn't follow in my family's footsteps.
Is that why you worked so hard in college?
I think so. Yep.
What was your family all about that you didn't want to be a part of?
Mm. Well, they were rather luxurious, and they did not make time for their human selves. They were focused on business. They were too defined by what society thought of them. They were Brahmins. They were in India. You may know that there's a caste system, and the Brahmas are the highest. And it is possible to lose your status, and so they were in terrible fear of that. And once you fall in the caste system, the only way back is to come through the reincarnation cycle, which, quite frankly, I think was a load of bullshit, uh, pun intended. So I took my dowry. I went to England and I went to college and I fell in love with the English because they didn't have a caste system. You can be whatever you want to be. I would have, I don't know, I would have probably been better off if I would have maybe not worked so hard at college and worked a little bit more at my social skills. I definitely would have been happier, but it all worked out.
What do you think about the current state of Antarctica? How much wrongdoing is still going on there? And do you have an advice for how we can flip the physics back to what we expect normal might look like?
Mm, probably not the right person to ask that question. Yeah, I've never been there. Too cold.
Fair.
Who the hell? Well, what's to freeze their ass off like that? What's down there anyway? Look, I could freeze my ass off in in Iceland or something, and the women are way more beautiful and they put out. So why would I go to Antarctica for what? Penguins? I know that's not what you asked.
That's okay. I like penguins, but I'm not gonna go to Antarctica to see them either.
Mhm.
Hmm. What is your golden nugget of advice for Alabar's team? What aren't they seeing that would be beneficial to their mission series?
Solidarity, of course, that is very difficult to do. I suppose in this incarnation of Alabar, he seems more like a general Patton than my Elmoria. I mean, they're very much the same, but he's a leader and he charges ahead, and those who can follow will follow, and those who fall behind will go away. In this instance, it seems like you have more of a confederation rather than a federation. Your sovereignty is more diverse, more spread out. He needs to make sure that all bases are covered, to use a baseball euphemism, and the right people are where they need to be. You need people to hold space. Those could be your basic ass in the grass meditators. You need people who can travel far and can see well, astral travelers who travel, but then also seers who may not travel at all, but they can play the Project Looking Glass game and foresee into the future. Um, and someone like you, well, you're expanding your horizons, and that's a good thing. But know where your gold lies. And I'm talking specifically just to you in particular, that where your gold lies, there your treasure is. And so if that is simply emanating a particular type of love frequency, then that is your gift. It is your gift to use. Each team has different gifts. Each team member should know what that is and how to employ it. And I believe that the universe has its way of placing everybody on the chessboard right where they need to be. Yeah, I cannot overemphasize the issue of physician, heal thyself, do your shadow work, heal what's inside, and then the outside reflects what's inside.
Makes perfect sense. Any last words before we depart?
Are you going to kill me?
Yep. Gotta get
Um,
those cobwebs out of there. It's following your advice.
you know, I think I'll stick around with Mr. Thomas here, and I will clean out his cobwebs, that dirty bastard. And speaking of dirty bastards, that Alabar, I send him my love, and we are all watching what you guys are doing, and we're very impressed. I was going to say entertained, but I'll be serious for a moment. No, we're very impressed with everything that the teams are doing, and El Moria, he's sharper than ever, better than ever. You guys are very blessed to have him as your teacher. But I think this time around, he understands that just he's just lighting the fuse. You are all the sticks of dynamite, and you guys are going to explode in many big ways. You'll take everything that he's teaching you. You're going to take it so much farther. And as I told Mr. Thomas here, that in my day, if I were to step onto your team, I would be so far behind the power curve. I'd be ashamed to call myself ascended. So take that for what it's worth and keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your kind words and your presence today.
You're very welcome. We'll do this some other time. Goodbye.
Absolutely.
Wow, and there he is.
Not too shabby. That was fun.
Yeah. $3 16 minutes. Okay. So let's see. Obviously, we have some homework to do, but and I will mention something that Khuthumi didn't mention is we got to be prepared for our own, like a series of Dark Nights of the Soul. And I mean, you've probably been through many. I've been through a few, and it's just a part of the process as the ego dies layer by layer.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, as we outshine density, the density has to fall away. And so where our attachments are is where we will notice those, I think.
Yeah.